Hey everybody, after a big win against USC last week, we have game 5 this week against Minnesota, which I never want to say that there's an easy game in the Big Ten, but this was kind of looked at as one of those games that should be an easy victory for the Michigan Wolverines. So let's dive into this one, get my thoughts of how the game went. I would say the first half started off pretty strong. Got a big run from Khalil Mullings right here. Like I said, that guy's a running back one all day. The defense was looking good in the first half. Had this little short pass here, ripped it right out of his hands. Gets the ball in good field position inside the 20. And so that's good news, doing exactly what we need to do. Khalil Mullings again, big, tough run. I love that kid. Absolutely love that kid. He's been playing well this year. And this right here is what I've been wanting to see Orji do. I want to see those little rollouts, little dump-offs, and get some completions. I thought he did that this week a little bit better than he did last week. Then this play right here was absolutely amazing. When he first came down, I thought for sure he was out. You see the Minnesota guys definitely pointing it out. But when they showed the replay, it was a good play. This here was a little disappointing as the half is winding out. They get a big completion. When they showed the replay, it looks like it might have hit the ground, but Minnesota did a good job of hurrying up and getting it in there, lining up. They had their field goal unit come right out and get the field goal before halftime. So we go into half with a 21-3 lead. But then we saw the Michigan that we've been seeing all year. Just in the second half, doesn't seem like we can do anything. Halfway through the third quarter, we get a field goal here to go up 24-3. So it's looking pretty good. Like I said, Orji's been looking better, 9 for 14 for 71 yards, but this is just a horrible read. And when you look at it, he seems to just flick it, and that's just not a good situation there. Gets them the ball with a good field position. They come down. They get a touchdown to make it 24-10. This play here, we punt it. Looks like a decent punt, and then the coverage just breaks down. Get a big, strong return. Missed tackle right there, but I think that was from the punter. I thought he was going to score right here. Gets it inside almost to the 10. So at this point, I'm wondering, is our defense going to be able to step up? Nope, runs right over our linebackers there. Makes it 24-17. At this point, I'm not going to lie, I'm getting a little bit worried. We were able to come down, get a field goal here to put us up by 10 with 4 minutes and 33 seconds. But this play right here, wow. I mean, I got to admit, this is one of the best catches that I've seen all year to actually make this a one-score game. And that's it for the highlights. But there was a couple things that I wanted to point out. One, like I said, did Orji look better this week than he looked last week? Yeah. Is that saying much? No. I mean, he still threw for 70, 80 yards this game, which just way better than the 32 that he threw for last week, but that's just not going to cut it when we start playing some good teams. But there's a couple concerning things that I'm seeing here. Like I said, we're playing good in the first half, but I think what was happening is the teams are seeing that Orji has no ability to throw the ball. And they're able to stop the run. And that's exactly what happened in the second half of this game. That's exactly what happened in the second half against USC. So we're just not able to move the ball. We're getting a lot of 3 and outs. And then this game we actually had a turnover, which is just something you cannot do in the style of play that we have to play. We have to run the ball. We have to play good defense, and we can't turn the ball over. If you don't do any of those things well, which in the second half we're not doing, it's going to be a tough road. The other thing that I kind of wanted to bring up was just that last possession that we came down and we scored with like 4 minutes and 33 seconds, got that field goal to go up by 10. That was just a poor usage of the clock. The commentators had mentioned it a couple of times. You know, we have the lead, a 2-score lead at that point. And Orji snapping the ball with 13, 14, 15 seconds left to go on the clock. You know, you can say for the first one that he does that on, that's okay, that's Orgy's fault. He's just not used to it. But in the second situation, the third situation, you can't do that. As the commentator indicated, he allowed them to have an extra minute. And not to mention he threw the ball in one of those possessions as well. I mean, once we got it inside the 10 there, quite frankly, that should have been snap the ball with 2 or 3 seconds left on the play clock and run Khalil Mullings into the end zone. And if you don't get it at that point, go ahead and get that field goal and waste as much time as you can. And that almost came back to haunt us in this game. I also wanted to bring up the controversial offsides on the onside kick. I mean, I've had some buddies say, if you really look closely, his hand is out. I didn't like the call. I don't think he was onside or offsides in that position. But if you also watch the replay, the refs also missed an early block on Minnesota right at the point of contact with the ball. One of the rules is the kicking team cannot block the offensive team before that 10-yard line situation either. And if you watch the replay, you clearly see, I think it was number 43, blocked a Michigan player right there at where the ball was. So that would have been a penalty either way. So no, I don't think the refs saved us. But I share the sentiments of Sherrod Moore after the end of the game, where he just clearly was not happy with the performance of his team. I wasn't happy with the performance of the team in the second half, and there's a lot of things to figure out. Washington's coming up next week. I like Minnesota. I think the Washington game is a game that we should win, but there is no such thing as an easy game in the Big Ten, especially when you don't have the elite playmaker at quarterback like we don't right now. And we have to travel to Washington, so it's not going to be an easy game, but hopefully we can work on some of those things throughout the week and get the W next week. Until next week, see you guys.